Dragon Piercer. 2 rockets on a goddamn arrow. You think the bow is for elements? I say no. It's for punching holes in goddamn monsters! Welcome to Raged Greatsword. Hello my fellow hunters, welcome then to the ultimate perfected Dragon Piercer, a deadly dance twixt Arch Tempered Velkhana and Fatalis to leave you killing most monsters in less than 20 arrows. It really is just ridiculous. And before we go any further, let me show you just how ridiculous, okay? I mean, do I even need to say anything? Did you see that damage?
Yes, so?
And that was with me forgetting to put on power coating, you know, a 35% damage boost, because I'm bad at bow!
Right this way, sorry to keep you waiting.
Seriously, I have always had a both fascination and love for Dragon Piercer. It's an incredibly fun move, and as I alluded to at the beginning, just spamming it does feel like just playing True Charge in ranged form, and I of course love that. What's better than a single, slowly powering up big boom that you can just use on repeat while forgetting the entire rest of the weapon? And the thing is, you kind of do need to forget the entire rest of the weapon if you're going to make Dragon Piercer work for you, because Dragon Piercer is a heavily raw required move, whereas everything else bow does lends itself to element. Raw bow kind of really isn't a thing, it sort of sucks. Except not anymore, because the Fatalis bow has so much raw that you can get away with just a generic one-size-fits-all raw bow set, which we have covered. But what that also does is translate to a monstrous Dragon Piercer build that is no longer a gimmick, but an absolutely devastating way to both kill monsters incredibly quickly and easily, but also have an absolute blast while doing so. So to me, bow is my third favourite weapon, and it's entirely because I adore Dragon Piercer only bow so very much. It's a playstyle unlike anything else I've experienced. It's also really satisfying to build a set around Dragon Piercer because there are so many skills that specifically power it up, and once you start stacking them all together, well, the result is something kind of ludicrous. And before you say, well, you can't play Dragon Piercer in a solo hunt because the monster's just going to hit you before you fire it, well, no, you very much can, and it's for a few reasons that we'll go over a little bit later. But first, let's look at what lets us actually do such silly damage with Dragon Piercer. Because with the addition of Arch Tempered Velkhana, the stars really have aligned. So, of course, we're using the Fatalis bow, because all that matters with Dragon Piercer is as much raw as possible, and you can't do better than Fatalis on that front. Now, this is, of course, a crit draw Frostcraft set, so the negative affinity really doesn't matter. It is very, very easy to allow for it with just a small amount of crit die, but we'll get to that when we get to the decorations. The rest is fairly standard. You've got your 4 pieces of Arch Tempered Velkhana, and the one we're omitting is the waist, because the waist has focus, and we don't need focus. Though seriously, focus should totally speed up the animation time of Dragon Piercer. How good would that be? I don't get it. And we want the Frostfang for that punishing draw, because while the ranged attacks can't stun, they do get the 5 bonus raw for having it on. And it also has very good slottage for what we're trying to achieve here. And indeed, let's not beat around the bush this time around. Let's put those decorations in and show you just how good this is. So, we have, of course, our level 3 critical draw, plus 15% from 3 crit eye, and the final 5% from having at least attack 4, which gives us our 100% affinity every single Dragon Piercer. So, of course, the 3 crit boost is there, along with the vitality, as both is mandatory for a build like this, and then we have our Dragon Piercer specific skills, as uniquely it benefits from both level 2 piercing shots, as it is a piercing shot, and from level 2 special ammo boost, as it is special ammo. So you see why it starts to get a little bit silly. We have plus 20% damage from piercing shots, plus 20% damage from special ammo, plus 30% damage from Frostcraft, plus power coating, loads of raw on top of that, the crit boost modifier, and you just start to stack and stack and stack until you eventually reach a breaking point, which takes it into stupid strong, as opposed to, okay, yeah, it's fun, but, you know, it's a gimmick, and we have reached that point now. We've broke through the ceiling of this is not just viable, it is ridiculous, and I, for one, could not be happier. After that, then, we just fill out with attack, agitated charm, because there really isn't much left that we can do, save for the one mighty bow, which does add to our Dragon Piercer a little tiny bit. It is little tiny, but, you know, every little does help. All of this comes together then to make Dragon Piercers that do in the range of 1,000 to 3,000 damage plus per shot, depending on the monster, which, as you can imagine, is very, very effective at killing it, and can lead to some magical moments. Oh yes, and beyond now just being able to power it up to its absolute maximum point, and I do mean that, it's not actually possible to have a Dragon Piercer stronger than this, save for a bow with higher base raw coming out. It just isn't. There isn't any skills we are missing, there is nothing that we can add on to this, it is just done, and it is beautiful, and I absolutely love it. But we do need to talk about playstyle, because obviously in multiplayer, you can just sit at the back, the monster's attacking the other 3 hunters, and you're just railing it with Dragon Piercer after Dragon Piercer after Dragon Piercer, and life is good. But if you're by yourself, the monster, well, is giving you a lot more personal attention, and that can be kind of a problem when you're sat there like, come on, fire the shot, and you can end up in frustrating moments where you just keep getting hit and cancelling it. Well, there is a solution to that, and it is your Palico and the Shield Spire gadget, which you definitely want while Dragon Piercer onlying. This means that most of the time, the monster will either be attacking your Palico or attacking your new best friend, Wacky Inflatable Tube Flailing Dummy Man.
Oh, hey there, mister. I like your bow. Is that rockets on your arrow? Whoa, that was a lot of damage. I'm a balloon.
But it gets even better now, because what we couldn't do before, which is something I didn't mention when we were talking about the decorations, is have Clutch Claw boost. And you might be like, really? We're piercing the whole monster? Does it really matter if we tenderize a part, even if it only takes half as many times now? Well, the thing is, yes, it does. Despite not using Weakness Exploit for affinity, the damage increase on a full tenderized monster is ludicrous for Dragon Piercer, because if you can tenderize every available part of it, well, then that's going to magnify across the entire length of the body as the Dragon Piercer powers through. And because we'll need to do one tenderize attack per part now, it's kind of very viable and indeed the best practice to do this. So for example, you start the hunt, put on your temporal mantle, and then just slowly work around the monster and get every single part tenderized. And I say slowly, but it really isn't that slow. Coupled with the new increased duration that parts stay tenderized for, you can get off up to 10 Dragon Piercers easily before this needs redoing, and that extra damage severely adds up. And indeed, thanks to the Fatalis bow being the bow of choice here, and it coming with paralysis and sleep coatings, the start of our hunts is devastating. You get to the monster, you give it a tenderize on every single part using your mantle, you flinch shot it into the wall, you give it a Dragon Piercer, then you get your paralysis coating and finish your paralysis, then you give it a Dragon Piercer. then it'll probably be a little bit mad with you, but that's okay because we'll calm it right down with the sleep coating. And then once it's asleep, we bob it into a wall again and give it a Dragon Piercer. And this, as an opening, is already like a good third of the monster's health chunked away, because it is full tenderize, wallbang, Dragon Piercer, paralysis, Dragon Piercer, sleep, wallbang, Dragon Piercer. And that as an opening sequence that's very simple to pull off and the monster can't really do much about it, is so silly effective. And I absolutely adore it. And then on top of the set just kind of coming with very helpful skills by default. I didn't really highlight it, but we have Quick Sheath level 3 now. And that's really good because the bow takes ages to go back on your back, and it makes everything play so much smoother and less clunky as it just rockets back into place now before getting ready for the next piercer. Even getting the full recovery up is good because yes, we do have a health augment as well as the attack on the bow, because although there is an internal cooldown on how often health augment can trigger, you'll get about 2 to 3 ticks of healing as your piercer goes through the full length of the monster, and that can add up, and it saves you having to sheath and drink a potion if you're missing just a bit of health to reactivate peak performance. So I very much like just having that bit of recovery, even though we're using a move that isn't that great for health augment itself. And look, let me break it down for you. The hunt you're seeing in the background is obviously against Mr. Frostfang. His tail was cut off on the second Dragon Piercer. You think about that, and in total to kill him, it took 14 Dragon Piercers. Just 14. 14 of them, and just shy 10 minutes to accomplish. And this was with me playing awfully. I got hit so much, there was so much downtime where I wasn't piercing him. This could be done so much more effectively, especially with someone who has more experience with both bow in general and Frostfang as a monster. And I think that is just lovely. The idea that you can be that fast and efficient while just using what until now was kind of a niche fun move that you don't really have a reason to ever bust out. So there you go, guys. That is your Dragon Piercer only crit draw Frostcraft, and it is good. Let me know what you think. Like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. A goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.